Welcome back to It's My Project, and I will cry if I want to. Picking up where I left off with the Drott 85RM 2 carry deck crane. First thing I'm going to do today is actually remove 2 more lines. So the rubber lines that go to the rear outrigger are just as bad as the ones were in the front. I didn't replace those yet because I actually just didn't have enough caps and stuff to have them all capped off at the same time. But I figured before I put hydraulic oil back in this, might as well get those replaced. The other thing I'm going to try to work on today is getting those cables hooked up and possibly adjusted some, but that may become a bigger job than I was hoping as far as where some of that slop is coming from. But we'll get into that and see if we can just get it adjusted the way the cables adjust, or if we'll have to do some more work there or not. So as you can see, the rubber hose is pretty worn there. And it's even worse over here. It's pretty well worn right through, cracked apart. That obviously still holds pressure right now, but it's not very good, so we're going to replace it while we can. And I think that that will make the last of the hoses that need replaced. I went ahead and cleaned up around the connections there with a wire brush real quick. That's just going to make it nicer when I go to take that apart. Maybe a little less debris falling on me, a little less contamination to get into the lines, hopefully. One thing to keep in mind if you're ever working on something like this and you're going to take hydraulic lines like this off, so these go to the outriggers, and you know, here's the outrigger, one of them, and there's one on the other side. When I take off one of these lines, these will be able to fall down, and you know, these are not that heavy and they're not going to fall super hard, but they will come down. And that's something to keep in mind when you work on this kind of stuff. You know, sometimes when you pull a hydraulic line, something may move or happen, and this is one of those cases where these should fall down when I pull the one side of this outrigger cylinder's hose, because it will allow air in, and that will be able to extend the cylinder then. So always be careful working underneath stuff like this, you know. Like I said, these probably won't even really hurt me, and this one's already down on the ground, so it'd be hard to be underneath it, but be careful where you are and what you're doing. These were kind of a bear to get out, but they're out. I think I'm probably going to call it for today. I got some other stuff to get done. I was really just trying to get those off so that I can get them to the hydraulic shop tomorrow, which is Monday, so that I can get the new ones on and get this filled back up with fluid. So this video is probably going to be a bit choppy because I'm going to be working on this over many days. You will have seen me take the lines off of the rear outriggers. They were garbage, so I got a couple lines made up. They're exactly the same, 2 like this. And then I've also got some knob handle things that I 3D printed. Hopefully these will pop on some of the control levers that are missing them, so we're going to try and pop those on and get these lines on, and that might be it for today. But then I still need to adjust those cables, and I still need to get the hydraulic fluid in the tank, so we'll see how far I get. I'm just going to spend a few minutes here today. Got a lot of other things to do, but hopefully if I just keep chipping away at it like this, little chunks at a time, we'll get somewhere in the end, right? So as you can see, this knob is broken. A few were missing. The shifter knob's even missing too. The shifter knob looks like it was actually threaded on, so maybe we'll do something different there. But for these knobs, I just 3D printed a little sphere with a hole in it that hopefully is gonna just kind of push on there, sort of tight like. I might have to use 2 hands. So I got 2 of the knobs on, and then I put the knob I had used. This one I had it off before. It was still good, but I used it to model the other ones for the 3D print. So I put it back on, and I put these 2 on. They took a little bit of persuasion. I just had to clean out the hole a little bit, and I just cleaned up the rod a little bit and then tapped them on. But they're on there really solid now, so hopefully those will last at least for now, and much more comfortable than just trying to pull the stick. So that'll be good. And then, okay, so I ended up just spinning that on there. The hole was loose enough, it wouldn't have worked to tap it anyway, but it kind of cut a little bit of its own thread. It's on there really solid. It's not going to pull off, but it's not quite, you know, threaded correctly for it, but that'll work. So now I've got knobs on all the controls. Alright, time to see if we can get these hydraulic hoses on then. So basically, it's hard to see and it's going to be hard to film anything, but I'll try and get them on and then show you them. There's hard lines that come from the front and then are kind of mounted on the back here. And these lines go on those, and then obviously the other end goes on the cylinder for the outrigger here. There's a port on both ends basically facing down. So I just got to connect those hoses to those ports on the cylinder and be good to go. Alright, that actually went pretty well. So here's the one. And here's the other. And I put a little twist in this one on purpose so that hopefully it doesn't rub anything. I think it was rubbing the old one some, and if I put this in just straight, it was going to rub this other hose down here, so put a little twist in it. That ought to keep it from rubbing anything. Now that those are done, I have enough time. I think I'm going to try to hook up and adjust the cables for the levers. So I'll get those pinned back up on the valve body that I installed, reinstalled. Let's see. So there's our valve body and our 3 cables. They're not pinned up yet, so I'm going to pin them to the valve bodies first probably, and then start using the adjustments here and the adjustments up by the levers to try and get those working nicely. Okay, so it's been probably 2 months, but at least more than a month since this thing started. And let's see if it'll start. Went ahead and put 10 gallons of hydraulic oil in. It should get sucked down real quick and then I'll have to add more, but it's reading full right now, so I'm going to start it up and see what happens. Might need 2 hands. Horrible leaks yet. Like that one there. There's a leak under there. You can see it dripping. You know, that drip is not good. So we'll figure out where that's coming from. So there was a leak, and to get to the leak, like I thought might happen, I have to take off a lot of other lines. So that's what I'm doing right now. It's pretty messy and pretty terrible, but it is what it is. Gotta get her apart to get her back together. And luckily, I got a cameraman today, so you actually get to see some stuff. Because otherwise, I would not be recording this.
Cut.
Why you cut it?
Because there's nothing to see now. You can just see the lower half of your body sticking out from underneath the ground.
That's quite good. Oh, yes. Okay. Woo! See, you missed all that.
It's recording.
What?
It's recording.
Oh, I thought you missed all that. I dropped my wrench in the bucket, so that sucks. Ah, I forgot something. There we go. I get this one loose. Yes. Okay. I got that loose. Okay. So far I had to unhook the front outriggers and the rear outriggers because obviously they all come together. I took a whole entire T-fitting out, but I'm removing the rest of these outrigger lines so I can take the other T-fitting out, and hopefully that's going to give me enough room to reach in and tighten up the one I didn't tighten apparently, which is the very middle, literally the middle line. Now you can see why it's so hard for me to film and work, huh? Okay, now I gotta get this wrench up in there and that wrench up in there.
You're focusing on the wrong thing.
It's set to autofocus right now, isn't it? You can manually focus. Oh boy, this is gonna be fun. I'm gonna have to take that cap off. It can't be on there while I do this. Oh, that one fell. Okay. So I've got to hold that. And I've got to twist this. Oh, thank goodness it wasn't that tight. Okay. Gotta get that off there. Okay, now, do you see my 1-inch ring? Now, I might be able to tighten this one. It needs tightened. Maybe. I can get on it at all. I might have to drop that one in front of it still. Holy. I think if I come in at a little bit of an angle there. Okay, I'm on it. That's a good start. Now, if I... lot tighter, but I don't think it's tight enough yet. There we go. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Come on. Come on. Get around that. Ow. Come here. You son of a gun. Dang bum shoulder. Can't pull. You know? Oh yeah, there we go. Come on.
Don't do anything amazing.
Just in life, or? No. Oh, hopefully that's tight enough.
That was the don't do something amazing part.
Oh, I can reenact that. You ready? Huh? Yeah?
Yeah.
Wait, gotta get back on that. Maybe.
Just fake it.
What? Fake it? That's how you said. Hopefully that's tight enough. Was it pretty convincing?
Yeah.
Do we have enough time to put it all back together?
You got like, I'll give you 20 minutes.
20 minutes? Oh heck yeah. We can do her. Is that 20 minutes plus cleanup time or including cleanup time? See a bunch of oil yet? Leaking? Well, that's dripping over there, but I never even touched that, so I don't know what that is. If it's leaking, it's a lot less. I don't see it.
Yay!
So I've got the swing lever working both ways right now, but not very well. So you can see if I pull back on it, I get a lot of quick movement. But if I push forward, I kind of have to hit it just right. And I only get slow movement. So I'm going to try and adjust that so that I can get a little better in both directions. I really need this lever to work better in both directions. My other levers, like boom up, boom down, they're quite nice, pretty responsive. Boom out, boom in. I don't have any issue with that. And then of course winch out. And winch in. They all work really nice. It's just my rotation on my boom that's a problem. So I'm having an issue there where when I push forward, it's like it's not moving the cable enough or something. And you know, all of this has a decent amount of play in it, which is probably not ideal. But like I said, these three levers actually work pretty well. The outrigger lever works okay. It's not amazing, but you use it so infrequently that I'm not too concerned about it right this second. But this lever, I really need to get working, at least so that I can make sure I'm definitely consistently going to be able to swing both ways, even if it's not fast either direction. Right now, I can basically swing fast one direction and barely get it to swing the other direction, which I'd rather it be, you know, in the middle there where I can get at least, you know, equal speed consistently. Because when I went to move the furnace with this crane, this this was letting me down. I could not move both directions. I could only move one direction all the time. And then if I would adjust the cable a little bit, then it would be able to move the other direction. So I'm going to see if I can get this figured out. So here's these controls from underneath. This is where I've been adjusting this one when I was moving the furnace and stuff to try and get it to work right. There's basically, if I can get it to focus, that'd be great. There's basically a nut on both sides of this flat plate here, and that piece is threaded so that I can kind of adjust that in and out. And I may try starting there a little bit, but then I do think I'm going to go to the other end because there's basically the same setup over by the valve body. And I may try to adjust that just to make sure there's no slack in the cable between that and the valve body, because that would be like, so basically it's when I push the lever forward that I'm having no movement right now. And pushing the lever forward, I would be pulling all the slack out of the cable, because it's actually, you know, when I push the lever up there forward, it's going to push this bottom piece backwards and pull the slack out of the cable. And, you know, when it's pulling the slack out of the cable, if there's slack in there, that may be why I'm not getting, you know, much actuation at that time, because it's pulling the slack out first and then starting to pull the cable. So let's see about adjusting this a little bit maybe, and looking up there and just seeing if there is any slack. Okay, so what I did is I got to look in, and at the front where the adjustment is by the valve body, it looks like maybe somebody had been in there at some point. I hadn't done anything up there yet, but the basically the cable adjust has kind of like a special locking washer type thing on it, and it's on one side of every adjustment. It looks like even back here it's on that same, you know, relative side, and that one at the valve body had it on the other side for some reason. So I don't know if that means anything or matters, but all I did so far was basically flip that washer from the one side back to the other side where it is on all the rest, which technically will shift it a little bit. I don't really expect this to do much, but I am going to just try it now that I did that, see how it acts, if it's any different, and go from there. Okay, let's see. Slow movement that way, fast movement that way. So it's really not much different. Maybe a little tiny bit better there, but really not much different. Yeah, so basically not much difference at all, if any at all. You know, it's hard to tell. It might have moved a little bit better, you know, when pushing and coming this way, but you know, it still moves way faster and way better this way, so we're still got to adjust some things. I may look into doing the adjustment up at the front though. It's much easier to access, and I still have some room there to adjust that same way, because I think it did make a little bit of a difference just moving that washer over, and I could adjust, you know, more right there and just see if it does it. If it does, that'd kind of be the easy way to do it, so probably try that. So here's what I'm talking about adjusting there. What I did was, if I can get in there. What I did was this washer here, which is kind of like a locking washer of sorts. See how it's on this side on all of them? Well, for some reason, this is the cable I'm dealing with right now. It was on this side. And so all I did was loosen this up so that I could flip that over to that side basically. But now what I might try doing is just adjusting it a little further that way. So loosen this one up a little bit and tighten this one up a little bit and just see if that makes a difference. I am kind of close to being out of adjustment on this side actually though. So I'm going to try a little bit and see if it makes a difference. Like I said, this would be much easier to do it here than it would be to do elsewhere. So we'll see. Gave that just a little bit more adjustment just to see if we can see any difference. I'd say that made a difference. That's actually not too bad. You know, I think it's still a little faster one way than So that seems like it did make a difference there. I may just try that even just a tiny bit more yet. I'd say it's still a little uneven, but it seems much closer, so. Yeah, I might just do that a little bit more. All right, you know the drill. A little more adjustment. Let's see how it goes. So forward, and backward. Ah, you see? I think we went a little too far. Not bad though. I think we'll leave that there for right now, because that was pretty even. If anything, I went maybe just a hair too far, but I think that's going to at least give me pretty consistent, you know, I don't have to worry about not being able to swing one direction or anything, you know. I'm very even on both directions there, so that's pretty good news. I don't think I need to do any adjustment at this end. And like I said, my other controls are good for now. I think, you know, theoretically I may adjust on the outrigger control at some point. So what's next? Basically the crane is fully functional again, which is great. I have some things hopefully coming up where I'll be able to use this and actually test it out and see if we're having any more issues or not, like when it's under load, if I have any hydraulic problems or not again. I do have to make a new gasket for the reservoir of the power steering pump. You probably have seen me in that before if you watch my videos, and you'll know that I was worried that might happen, and it did. It seems like it kind of seeps out in between the reservoir and the pump, which is not that big of a deal. It's definitely not losing fluid fast, but I figure I might as well get that reservoir off, make a gasket and put in there. I need to clean off and re-grease the boom and some other little things. I need to get a tire for it at some point, but you'll be seeing some of that. But hopefully also that means since this is functional, we will be branching into some other projects. So look forward to seeing that in the future videos. Shout out to my brother. He came over and helped me put the hydraulic fluid in this. Made it a little easier than holding a funnel and pouring a 5-gallon bucket, as well as do a little bit with the cables there yesterday. So if you like this video, go ahead, give it a like, subscribe, comment, all that good stuff, share with your friends, and I'll see you in the next one.